mean apology.
Yeah, would be wrong.
Maybe you burn yourself a copy.
Someone that you took care of,
Yeah, thank you.
family member said, oh, I used to work with them. How much that high? You never did. Waldron,
And LCS meant Lucas County Schools.
Okay.
Donna,
Uh,
Waldron.
Oh, I know Donna, yeah, but I want to try to get, she lives in Dayton, though.
Yeah,
She's only been like a year.
I just ran into her.
So, she's really nice. At least I talked to her on the phone. She seems very nice.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Oregon Board of Education meeting of October 6th. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Our moment of silence this evening is for Michael Schober, who was an industrial arts teacher at Facet, and then he became dean at Clay. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May we have the roll call, please, Mrs. Boyce?
Michael Shea,
Yes.
Jerry Eversman,
Here.
Carol Molnar,
Yes.
Dan Savick,
Here.
Jeffrey Zabiskie.
Here.
Please silence all personal electronic devices during the meeting. I need a motion to accept the agenda as written, please.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Shea,
Yes.
Savick,
Yes.
Eversman,
Yes.
Molnar,
Yes.
Zabiskie.
Yes.
Okay, moving to item 5, public participation in board meetings. All meetings of the board are open to the public. In order for the board to fulfill its obligation to complete the planned agenda in an effective and efficient fashion, a maximum of 30 minutes of public participation is permitted at each meeting. Each person addressing the board shall give his or her name and address. If several people wish to speak, each person is allotted 3 minutes until the total time of 30 minutes is used. During that period, no person may speak twice until all who desire to speak have had the opportunity to do so. Persons desiring more time should follow the procedure of the board to be placed on the regular agenda. The period of public participation may be extended by a vote of the majority of the board. And please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and will be available on the district website. I have one card this evening. Mr. P.J. Kathian, would you come forward? Microphone.
PJ Camp, member 3646 Navarre Avenue, Oregon, Ohio. I just wanted to come here and to kind of address some things going on. Little background, I've been in them seats before, it's not always fun and enjoyable. The history of me in the city is well known. I don't shy from who I am. I'm also the guy that's given hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Oregon City Schools. The football field that's out there right now, we donated all the labor because we didn't have the money. Oregon paid for the materials and my company that I own did all the labor. In the meantime, while I was on this board, I never took a dollar. I donated every penny back to Oregon City Schools. I've given tens and tens and tens of thousands to every organization in these schools. The athletic departments, wrestling, volleyball, football, hockey, everyone. And to this day, I own Patty Joe's in Oregon, one of the most successful restaurants in the city. We're packed every night. But because you're successful, all the people, all the groups here would like for you to donate. So we do. While we can, we do. We give back. I'm not a perfect individual. Never even pretended to be one. I don't hide from who I am. my mugshot's sitting in my restaurant. A big mugshot, right by the bathroom. I know who I am. I've never been afraid to be that person. I went to meet the candidates thing last week, and 9 people came up to me and said, Jerry Eversman's talking bad about you. That's fine, I'm used to Jerry talking bad about me. We've played this game before. Jerry put the flyers out against me when I ran for school board. I won by 1,100 votes. Jerry got fired from his job because he did it. I'm okay with whatever Jerry has to say about me. But I went to that meet the candidate meeting to advocate for how important the data center is to Oregon City Schools. Not so much the city, even though the city's going to benefit. I know how the financing and how the money plays and how the schools are funded. I also know every year they're trying to take more from you. You're losing revenue. They're pulling. They do not want. It's to the point now where we might not even have property tax, who knows? But funding's leaving the schools. And with the data center, that's a lifeline that the schools can't afford to lose. So I went there to do that. I didn't know Jerry would be talking about me to everybody else. While I was in the room, Jerry never said a word to me, and I never addressed Jerry. I don't have a problem with Jerry. He's had a problem with me before. I never addressed him, I never went after him, I've never done anything. In the moment now, with everything online, and as toxic as this city's getting because of politics, the one thing I think everybody up here can probably agree on, you need that development. And I went there for that purpose. I was there in the room when they first announced this might be coming. And I remember telling Carol how huge this is for the schools. I know what $10 million a year will do for schools. I know what that money means to the teachers, the students, the athletes, and I know what it means to the city, because if you don't have strong schools, you don't have a strong city. Jerry, if you want to tear me down, that's fine. Put a pause on it for a little bit till we get this all figured out so we can move forward with the city. If you don't like me, that's fine. You can find me and tell me anytime you want to how you feel about me. I don't say anything negative about you, and I surely don't go in a room that's that important trying to poison it against you or anyone else here. Most of you up here worked with me. Even when we didn't get along, we still found a way to work together to get things done. When we combined the junior highs, I remember Carol said, like, what do we need to do to fix this education? And she said, combine the junior highs. I go, why aren't we doing it? She goes, because nobody has the balls to do it. And I said, let's just do it. I took that on. I believe that's what we need to do, and I thought it was the right thing for Oregon City Schools, even though people are upset. I'm not in here for a personal reason. If I was for a personal reason, I wouldn't address the whole board. I'm here because there's bigger fish to fry, and there's more important things going on. But if you want to play the game, I can live in this room too. I can meet with the superintendent. I can meet with the treasurer. I can go through the books for the last 2 years. And you've all seen how that works. I don't want to. When I left, and I left it alone. I do have a lot of pride in being an Eagle. I do say yes when they come to my door. And I don't turn anybody down from these schools, because I believe in supporting the schools. If the schools doesn't support me anymore, then Jerry can say it out loud, and then I can tell everybody why I'm not doing it anymore. Because I'm in a successful restaurant that's packed every night with 400 voters a night, and I still support the Oregon City Schools, and I support every kid that comes in these halls. No matter what the request is, I try to make it happen. I just want that on the record, so I won't go behind somebody's back and talk badly. I'll do it right to your face. I'm still not talking badly. Thanks for hearing me tonight. I appreciate you giving me this time, and hopefully I'm not living in this room for the next 2 years.
Thank you, Mr. Captain.
Madam President,
Yes.
Mr. Caphammer, I addressed 2 people that night, Mr. Safarian and Mr. Reeves. And I merely asked them, as fine public servants, why would you have your signs outside of a restaurant owned by a man who was convicted of assaulting a police officer?
No, I wasn't. That's a lie.
You didn't assault anybody?
I did. I got convicted of battery on a police officer. And I didn't beat up a teacher either, Jerry.
What's that?
And I didn't beat up a teacher either.
You, 1990s?
No,
Assault on a teacher or At
But-
school?
No, fighting with a kid in school, yes.
Okay. Now, that stuff's on your record, okay? Now,
Not assaulting a police officer.
and, you know, before
Never
you come up
charged.
here throwing stones,
Never.
All right,
I'll go
no.
back up, so I'll do it on the record so everybody
all
can.
right?
I've never been charged
Now,
with assaulting a
and,
police officer.
and I don't know how this is affecting, this is school business. This is not school business, okay?
It
So,
is school business.
It's
but
not school business,
You're a public official.
Gentlemen,
No.
gentlemen,
You're a public official, I'm private.
and I can talk to the mayor, and I can talk to Mr. Reeves
But if
anytime I
you-
want.
If you want to call me a criminal,
gentlemen, we're stopping.
say it to my face and don't say it behind my back.
No, does your record speak for itself?
Jerry,
I don't care about my record, Jerry.
Mr.
Then
Eversman,
have him sit down.
Mr. Eversman,
Shut up.
Mr. Eversman, we're done. Mr. Caphammer, thank you
And
so
I'm a
much.
taxpayer,
Appreciate
Jerry.
it.
You work for the taxpayers.
Thank you. Thank you.
25,000 a year in taxes, property taxes.
Take it out at the next election.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll be here. I'm not afraid of this room, Jerry.
Okay, sorry about that, people. May we have a presentation, Mrs. Coy, please? And this is good news. We're happy to have you this evening. Good news. In fact, it's excellent news. It's the best news we've had all year.
I did leave for you, just in case you were wondering, while I kind of get set up, I did leave for you the two-sided handout. I'm not going to go through every component and kind of go through the weeds on how it's calculated and what our stars were, so I thought I'd just put this together so you would have this in front of you. And then as we go through the presentation, if there are questions in regards to what I've given you or what I'm presenting, then you can go ahead and ask them at that time. So I'm going to get set up here. Get started. Okay, like Mrs. Molnar says, we definitely have some good news this evening when we look back at the work that we went through during the 24-25 school year and then how that translated to our state report card. There's definitely a lot to celebrate in our district. So I want to start with our Rockstar Career Tech program that I think this is year 3 now in a row. Ever since we've had the star ratings, they have been 5 out of 5 stars. So I'm going to start there and just, kudos to Becky Ben and her crew and Clay High School for making this program a premier program in our district. We are certainly very, very lucky to have the staff that we do. And then our kids are fortunate to have the opportunity to not have to leave Clay High School and still be able to participate, again, in a top-notch program. So as you can see, there are 4 components to the Career Tech Report Card, 5 stars in all 4 areas. When the overall stars, when the overall rating is calculated, all 4 components are equal within that state recognition. Now moving on to the district report card. We are at 4 stars as a district, and you can see that puts us in the top 50% of districts. I'll pull this down here just a little bit so you can see those numbers a little bit better. But we definitely, like I said, are in that top tier of districts at 4 stars. As you can see there, there are 147 districts that are at 4 stars, 95 at 4.5, and 47 at 5 stars. So once again, something to celebrate as a district. We definitely have had a lot of growth over the last few years, leading us to this 4-star rating. When you look at the individual buildings again, a great deal to celebrate. You can see where we're falling there in the overall distributions across the state, how many districts are actually within those grading distributions. Clay has remained consistent at 4 stars. Facet is at 3.5, and I have to say they are, let me double check that number because it is so incredibly small. They are 75 thousandths away from 4 stars. 75 thousandths. So when I've talked with Jen about that, and I talked with Mike about that as well, and I'm like, you guys are right there. This is the year. I know this is the year for Facet to get over that 3.5 star hump that I know they've been working incredibly hard at. So Ike is at 4.5 stars, Coy is at 4 stars, Jerusalem has increased to 5 stars, and then we have Star at 4 stars. So when you think about the report card, that overall rating is made up of 6 different components. So the percentages that you see there, that's the percentage of whatever score that you earn for that component, that's the percentage then that goes into the overall rating. So not all of the components are equal like they were on the Career Tech report card. So you can see that achievement and progress are weighted heavier than the other 4 components. So when you look at all 6 of those components, for achievement we were 4 stars, for progress we were, I have progress on there twice, did not even see it. I wanted to count it twice, I think that's why. Achievement 4 stars, progress 4 stars. Our graduation component is at 4 stars, gap closing is at 4 stars. The biggest change was the gap closing. We were at 3 stars last year, and we currently raised that to 5 stars this year. So that certainly was a nice increase for us within our report card. Our graduation rate has remained consistent at 4 stars. And then for the brand new component, which is the district, college, career, workforce, and military readiness, that's a whole mouthful, that was at 4 stars. And if you're wondering what goes into those different components, that's why I gave you the handout, so you can kind of take a look at what each one of those means. And 5 out of the 6 you are familiar with because they've been around for multiple years, but the college, career, workforce, and military readiness, that is a new component this year. Again, we feel pretty good with where we stand with that. There's always a lot to learn when that first rating comes out. You know, what can we do differently to continue to either maintain 4 stars or continue to look toward 5 stars. This is the exciting news, because a lot of this is pretty consistent. We've been here, again, the gap closing has increased, but this next set of information is really where I kind of start getting excited. So in 2025, we earn 3.5 points. And like I said, every component you earn points for each component, and then those points are weighted, and then all of those points are added together. And then I know it's a little tough to read there, but then once all of the points are added together, they correlate to a star rating. So for 4 stars, I'm going to get a little closer to it so I can read it. For your total, 3.125 to 3.625. That's where you have to be for your for all the components in order to earn 4 stars. So the highest tier of that is 3.625 stars. We missed 4.5 stars by 0.125. So we are right there, and you can see that in 24 we did dip down a bit with 3.5 points, which was 4 stars, and that was due to the gap closing at 3 stars instead of 5. And then in 23 we did earn 3.6 points, which again in 23 we were this close as well to that 4.5 star category. But I just feel this year we're ready to again kind of get over that hump and get us to the point where we earn 4.5 stars. I know it's right within our reach with being so close at 0.125 stars. I know it's something that we can easily achieve. And how we're going to do that is focusing on our performance index. So the performance index is the achievement component of the report card. Again, 25%, so we know that it's going to have a high influence on the overall report card because it's 25% of that calculation. So what we're looking to do this year is increase, or I should say, decrease the number of proficient students. And you might be thinking, why would we want to do that? Because we want to move them to accomplished and advanced. For the achievement component, we earn the most points when kids score at their highest levels. So the more students who score advanced, the more points we're going to earn. The more students that score accomplished, the more points we're going to earn. So by moving those proficient kids, those students who are passing the test, but stretching them beyond that, that's what's going to move us over that hump. So those are going to be the conversations that we have around the district, because I do feel that we spend a great deal of trying to get those basic and limited kids to proficient. That work won't stop. But it's how can we take those proficient kids and get them to the next level? What is there additional rigor we have to add within our instruction? Do we need to ensure that we're covering content at the, again, at the depth in which we need to in order to perform on the state test? So again, that will be our conversations. Dr. Fritz has already started that conversation with our building principals. Our key to getting to 4.5 is through the performance index. And by improving students' overall test scores, that will improve our progress rating as well. And that will also influence our other ratings. So this is definitely where we're going to get the best bang for our buck. I also did want to note that in many of the categories, so I'm just going to scroll back here for a second. So in many of these categories, when you think about the points that you earn, it's a continuum of points. So within achievement, when you earn 4 stars, it's not just one number that you can earn. But within that 4 stars, depending on where you fall, if you're toward the bottom of the 4-star range or the top of the 4-star range, you're going to earn more points. What's kind of good news for us is for a lot of these categories, we're toward the bottom of those ranges. So again, moving up just a little bit doesn't mean we have to get to 5 stars to earn more points. As long as we keep improving, we're going to earn more points within that particular index in order to then raise our overall rating. So again, I know we're right there. We have a lot of opportunity to make sure we get that work done this year. So with all of that, I could talk all day about the report card because there's lots of moving pieces and parts. And you do have some additional information in front of you, but I was wondering if there were any questions that you had about what I shared, or I know I sent an email out last week with a more detailed report of the report card. Then obviously you have some additional information in front of you. So if there's anything you would like to know or anything you've been wondering about, I can help.
I'd just like to say that Mrs. Coy has done a great job with this. And if memory serves me correctly, I think 3 years ago we were right around 2.8, I believe, as a district, somewhere right around there. So to have this kind of improvement, and the reason why we've had this kind of improvement is that everybody has bought in. It's been a real team approach, and I think the understanding is that it still takes leadership at the top, and Mrs. Coy's done an unbelievable job drilling down into each of the areas, disseminating that information back into our buildings and our classrooms, and everybody has come together as a team to help elevate those scores. And it's so important for our children, so important for our families, our community, and our district. And to be that close to 4.5 is, and where we've come from and where we are now is pretty doggone amazing, and I think you deserve a lot of credit for that.
I appreciate that. It's definitely, like I said, a group effort. So, it's giving people information so they can act upon that. So I appreciate all the work that both principals do, as well as all of our teachers in working and moving toward that higher overall ranking, because I think everyone sees how close we are, and now it's like, oh, okay, we're just there. What else can we do to get, to get to that next step? So that would certainly be a huge celebration for everybody, because again, it takes everyone to do the work. So I enjoy kind of uncovering some of those things, and helping people come along with, okay, it's really not as monumental as we think it is. It's something that's well within reach, something we can do just by making a few minor adjustments. So it's exciting.
A little nudge over
Just
the top.
just a little bit, so. Any other questions? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Mhm.
Okay, moving on to Mrs. Boyce for the treasurer's report, please.
Under me, I have the approval of the minutes for the September 16th, 2025 meeting. I do know that normally I have a treasurer's report and approval of bills. However, while I've been trying to get this September closed, I was not able to achieve that yet, because I've been working on the forecast and the presentation to get that done. So hopefully we can get balanced by the end of this week, and once I have that, I'll put my report together and I will email it out to you folks. And then if you have any questions, please let me know. So with that being said, I'd like to move on to the approval of my forecast. And this is kind of a new forecast model, because now instead of a 5-year forecast, it's a 4-year forecast. It's forecasting the rest of this fiscal year and the next 3 fiscal years. So in your folder, there are 2 items that I have left for you for the forecast. One is what we like to call the community-friendly forecast, and then also my presentation of the forecast that you can use to follow along with me. So for the first page, it's the dashboard of the FY26 that coincides with that community forecast. As you can see, you have the $51.5 million of total revenue, the $54.5 million in expenses, for a deficit spending of $2.97 million. Then you have the true days cash is on there as well, and you can see we're around 100 days in FY25, give or take, and then fall below 0 in FY29. And then at the bottom, you can see where we are deficit spending in all the forecasted years. As you can see on a community-friendly forecast, you have the 2.9 in FY26, the 4.6 in FY27, 6.9 in 28, and then finally the $9 million in FY29. Some key takeaways for FY26. Revenues are down 2.8%, expenses are down 12%, and again, you can see that we are deficit spending $2.97 million. Salaries have increased 7% over the last year due to FY26, excuse me, having an extra payroll than FY25 did, and also the new 3.5% raises that were given to both unions. Real estate is up 1.5%, and interest income is up 20%.
What would the salaries be if you took off the extra payroll and just did it eat apples to apples? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head. I know a payroll is around $1.3 million per payroll, so that one is added in the FY26 one. So if you would take it off of the FY26 and add it to the FY25, they would be about the same.
Okay.
In this slide It's taken from the September number 2 foundation payment detail through ODE. It shows that Oregon has around 3,300 students. Of those students, around 436 are special education students, and about 1,700 are in poverty. I also added a special ed breakdown in categories where 1 would be like a speech student, all the way to 6, which are your most severe kiddos. And then in tax year 2024, property valuation came in around 869 million, and there we see 1 mil generates about 868,000. The median income of Oregon is around $54,000, and over on the right, I have showing where the state shares gives us about 39%, and our base funding per student is around $3,911. And in the district, there's been about 388 identified gifted students. The top revenue drivers are real estate, state funding, and public utilities. And hopefully around mid-November, we will have a better grasp on the state funding after all of the components of the budget have been updated. This forecast is projected using budget simulations and actual ODE data as of September 30th. I do know there is a possibility of some more local funding coming to us through the data centers and a possible new power plant. However, all that's unknown, and I didn't use any of that for this forecast. As I stated in a prior slide, our interest income has gone up, and some of that is due to me moving a significant amount of money from a commercial banking that we had to Star Ohio, which has much better interest rates than just a regular commercial bank does. Also, public utility is up to begin the year, and we will look to see what our final collection will be in March. Hopefully a more clearer picture of real estate will be able to be seen then. And as always, Dr. Fritz and I will follow potential negative impacts on the various property tax bills could have for our district. Then the dreaded expenses. As you see, the top expense drivers are salaries, benefits, and purchase services. I put a graph in there to kind of show the top expenses and how much it's causing the district. Sometimes people are better visual than just hearing, so I thought I'd add that little graph in there for you guys. Overall expenses are down because of the transfer that was made at the end of last year into the capital projects and severance funds. Salaries are up this year because of that, having 26 pays this year because of the skip-a-pay we did in 25. Benefits are up about 14%, mostly due to an increase of 12.3% in health insurance premiums due to several large claims from employees, and all of that is information that I gathered from Savage and Associates. And I know that Dr. Fritz has mentioned this, but we are working with each department on the efficiency studies that should hopefully help us examine every expense that we have out there and try to get that lowered. And then finally, this page is a graph that you can use along with the community-friendly forecast to show you what our ending cash balances are, starting with FY26 at 13 million, and then ending out in FY29 at negative 6.8 million. So if you have, and that's all I have for my 5-year forecast, 4-year forecast. If you have any other questions, please let me know, and I'll try to answer them for you.
Real quick question on the expenses. We're showing salaries and benefits at 85% of total expenses. And I know that probably fluctuates based on how we reduce, say, the non-salary benefits and we reduce purchase services. I don't know, Dr. Foote, do you know, kind of the sweet spot that the district our size and should be? Are we in the sweet spot? Are we on the high end, low end?
Typically, we'd be in the 70s,
Okay.
somewhere in there, so we are on the high end of that. It doesn't help with the medical insurance going up 12.3% in the last year. It's going to continue to go up. So we obviously, as a district, need to look at those benefits and with our two unions and make sure that we're adjusting those accordingly as we move forward through negotiations and so forth. And I'll talk more about it in my report as well. About obviously, as Tracy mentioned, we just started with technology department and doing our efficiency, our personnel and efficiency studies, trying to understand, trying to make sure that everything is coded correctly. The state accounting codes have changed and also during this time, and so you got to make sure everything is coded correctly and makes sense moving forward. But also we need to look at if we do have to make reductions in expenses, right? We need to know what options do we have available moving forward. We're a service organization. Obviously, we're educating kids. We want to do that to the best of our ability. One of the reasons I would share is that we have a 4 the last 2 years is because of the services we have in place at this moment and the work that's been done. The reality of what we know is that real estate taxes are our primary resource of funding. Next is the state money coming in and then the federal money coming in. We know that, unfortunately, it's definitely on the horizon where we're going to get less real estate taxes locally. And there's not going to be a filler on the back end from the state or the federal government. They've made that very clear. And so we're going to see less money than we're getting in right now. And so ultimately, we don't know what that is, and that's what Tracy was referring to in February when we have to redo this forecast again. We'll have a better idea because we think that a lot of that's going to be done between now and Thanksgiving. And we'll have a better understanding. Ultimately, though, it's like a checkbook, right? You got to have the revenue coming in to cover your expenses, and if you don't, you have to make adjustments. And so we'll have to go through and figure that out as a district.
Thanks, Dr. Foote.
Okay, so I need a motion to
I have one more.
Oh, sorry.
See, that's okay. And then I need, apparently, prior years, Jane would go through and transfer the pay to participate funds from the general fund to the athletic fund, looked like 2 or 3 times a year, and that hadn't been done, so I ran a report, and from that report, I'd like to transfer $109,000 from general fund. Clay Athletics gets $92,793.59, and Facet Athletics gets $16,225, and that's all money that was put in for pay-to-play that is being transferred over there.
Okay, sorry.
That's all I have.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry. Okay, so now may I have a motion to accept, please?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion or further questions? Roll call.
Zavisky,
Yes.
Savick,
Yes.
Shay,
Yes.
Eversman,
Yes.
Molnar.
Yes. Thank you. Any need for an executive session? Okay, moving on to consent agenda. Are there any items that the members of the board wish to pull from the regular meeting consent agenda? Hearing none, I need a motion, please.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Shay,
Yes.
Eversman,
Yes.
Molnar,
Yes.
Savick,
Yes.
Zavisky.
Yes.
Okay, and then moving on to new business. Item A, contract addendum. We need a motion to approve contract addendum for the superintendent effective August 1st of 2025 The addendum has been distributed to the board. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Roll call.
Savick.
Yes.
Eversman.
Yes.
Shay.
Yes.
Molnar.
Yes.
Zavisky.
Yes.
Item B, Career Tech Student Handbook. I need a motion to adopt the Clay High School Career Tech Student Organization Handbook. The handbook has been distributed to the board. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Roll call.
Shay.
Yes.
Savick.
Yes.
Eversman.
Yes.
Molnar.
Yes.
Zavisky.
Yes.
Item C, Transportation Contracts. A motion to enter into a transportation contract with the Floyd family to transport their child to St. Ursula Academy. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Discussion or questions? Roll call.
Shay.
Yes.
Eversman.
Yes.
Molnar.
Yes.
Savick.
Yes.
Zavisky.
Yes.
Item D, a motion to approve the following overnight trips. Clay wrestling to the Ironman tournament at Walsh Jesuit High School, December 12th through 13th. Clay wrestling SWOCA tournament, Middletown High School, December 19th to the 21st. Clay wrestling to the Medina tournament in Medina High School, December 28th through the 30th. Clay hockey to Rocky River Tourney, November 14th through the 16th. Clay hockey to Benedict Thanksgiving tournament, November 28th through the 30th. Clay hockey, the Adam S. Hamilton tournament at Kent State University, December 5th through the 7th. And the Eisenhower 6th grade camp, Machindo, at January 26th through the 30th. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Go ahead,
Mike, discussion? Roll call.
Savick.
Yes.
Shay.
Yes.
Eversman.
Yes.
Molnar.
Yes.
Zavisky.
Yes.
And moving on to item E, our donations. Vicky Fair donated 10 finger guitars to Bassett Junior High School for a value of $1,750. It was an anonymous donation from a Clay High School alumni for the school lunch program in the amount of $1,500. Walmart donated 66 dozen donuts to Coy Elementary School for the goodies with grandparents and VIP events in the amount of $432.14. The Oregon Conservative Club for their donation of $500 to the Clay High School for the 250th commemoration contest. Toledo Tea Party for a donation of $500 to the Clay High School for the 250th commemoration contest. The Oregon Democratic Party for their donation of $250 to Clay High School for the 250th commemoration contest. The Kingdom Community Christian Ministries for a donation of personal care items to Clay High School Clay Cares Closet at $200. Kingdom Community Christian Ministries for a donation of personal care items to the Wind Center for $200. Oregon Schools Foundation, $250,000 to, I'm sorry, 2,000. Yeah. To the Clay High School Athletics for the football team drone and the Exchange Club of Greater Maumee Bay and Genoa Bank partnered to donate Freedom Shine display of approximately 30 historical documents to Bassett Junior High School, valued at $1,472.50. May I have a motion to accept these, please?
So moved with gratitude.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Savick.
Yes.
Eversman.
Yes.
Shay.
Yes.
Molnar.
Yes.
Zavisky.
Yes.
Item F for the 26-27 school calendars. The 26-27 school calendars are presented for a first read. The OCFT union will vote on these three calendars, and the district will then work with the union to decide on which calendar That doesn't need a vote, that's just a presentation this evening. Item G, disposal of materials. The district needs to dispose of 332 yoga Chromebooks, 284 100E Chromebooks, 205 N23 Chromebooks. A list of items with ID numbers has been distributed to the board. May I have a motion for disposal, please?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Shay,
Yes.
Eversman,
Yes.
Molinar,
Yes.
Savick,
Yes.
Zavisky.
Yes.
Item H, disposal of equipment and materials. The items listed in the September 16th agenda for disposal have been disposed of in accordance with board policy. And moving on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. First, I want to mention, I had sent an email in regards to the need to change the November Board of Education meeting. I had suggested either the 10th or the 11th of November. I wasn't sure if that would work at the same time at 6 p.m.
Did we do the 10th already?
The 10th would work.
Did we vote on the
I
10th
thought
last time?
we said that we
Would be the 10th.
I believe so. I can double check, but I thought I had it on the calendar. Then the 10th,
At
what
6
we
p.m.
chose, 6
The
p.m.?
10th at 6 p.m. will work for everyone?
I think that's what we did last
I
week.
think we
Okay.
did that.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And then, November 3rd, would that work for a board work session? Okay.
It was me.
Do you want to do 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. for the work session? On that Monday the 3rd?
I think 5 will be okay.
Awesome.
5.
5 p.m. Okay. I want to thank Jennifer for her presentation of board report card results. I would agree. I mean, the career tech results are continuously phenomenal. We appreciate all the work of the administrators, the teachers, and the students in those programs. They do outstanding, provide outstanding opportunities to our kids, as well as, 2 years of 4s is outstanding. There's a lot of good data in there, nice improvements. Some that went down, but ultimately, it's a room for improvement. And we, as Jennifer mentioned, we had a conversation about how do we move each student to the next level. And so we'll continue those conversations moving forward. I think one of the great things we've also done is started to establish a MTSS process, which is really more about looking at the instruction that happens in every classroom, and then from there, looking at when students are not really understanding that instruction, what do we do to provide interventions for them and help them along the way? So I'm looking forward to those next steps. Fall athletics are doing so well. Shout out to Mason Heitschel, recent graduate, got his first start at Pitt on Saturday. That was phenomenal to watch and experience along with the rest of us that were watching that game and see his great results. But there's also a lot of great things going on in the district. I'm not going to steal Carol's thunder because I know she's got some great things to mention. I have another document that I'll share with you this week that the principals put together for me that I wanted to share with you because it just highlights some really good things going on in the district, and it's important to celebrate those and appreciate what the great work that our staff are doing with our students. Wow, what an entryway for your forecast, right? We look at those results, we know that it's not where we want it to be, and what can we do to adjust that? So we'll have those conversations, and we're going to have a plan moving forward. The biggest, as we talked, the biggest expenses are salary and benefits. As a service organization, that makes sense to some degree, but we also need to understand our costs and what can we do to move forward. I will mention that Oregon City Schools has the second lowest school taxes per $100,000 of home value in Lucas County. I know, right now we are having lots of conversations about real estate taxes in the state of Ohio. And I think it's also important to understand that, we haven't been on the ballot for new money since 2015 as far as operational money. That's 10 years, that's a long time. Kudos to all the board members that were here along that path and were able to manage the funds and move the district forward and keep it moving forward, because there's not many districts that were not on the ballot during that time, especially in this area. We do have a permanent improvement levy that was renewed in 2022. That's up again in 2027. We'll see what we can actually do at that time as far as levies, depending on what the state legislature does here in the next month or two. We have a bond issue, that was originally approved back in 2004 that will go off the books in 2031. Originally, that was approved for 4.4 mils. Right now, it's just at 2.5 mils. So, in 6 years from now, actually a little bit less than 6 years, that'll be something that we'll be talking about going off of the ballot. So that will definitely be some tax relief at that time. We have no idea, other than we know something that is going to happen with real estate taxes. It's already starting to happen. One of the other vetoes got approved to be overridden. We expect either similar language in other bills being approved and or vetoes of the remaining, or overrides of the remaining vetoes. That's what the House of Representative leader is saying. And the Senate president is also saying the same. So we'll see where that goes. I'm hopeful that at least some of the recommendations from the governor's tax group will be heard up the legislature, and hopefully some of those will be implemented versus some of the extreme negatives that are going to come out of that. My biggest concern of all of that is not only for school districts, but for police and fire and other services through local municipalities and other stakeholders. I mean, it's not just us that are going to feel these effects. And so what does that do to them? And how do we all move forward? Because there's truly no plan. There is no plan right now in the legislature once all these real estate taxes are changed and or the potential, as mentioned earlier, if they're eliminated, there is no plan. There's discussions about, well, we may raise the sales tax maybe 10 or 15%. That's not going to go over well either. So we'll see where that goes. But it's interesting you start looking at the history. And I mentioned this last month. We haven't learned from our history. In 1991, local homeowners in Ohio paid 46% of school property taxes. Today, they pay on average 67.5%. State legislators have approved significant reductions to businesses over the last 30 years as far as what taxes they pay. Tremendous reduction, almost half of what they used to pay. And I understand that to some degree because you want businesses to come in, but also understand what that did, along with rising property values, is shifted the burden to the local taxpayers. Because ultimately, what also happened is Ohio went from 35th in the nation in 2002 to 45th in the nation in 2022 of how they fund schools. That's where we rank right now. We're almost at the bottom of the state funding that comes to public school districts in the state of Ohio. I don't think as a state that's where we want to be. But they've also put themselves in that position because they continuously decrease income tax and other taxes, and there's not the funds. I mean, they could dip into the rainy day fund. I'd like to see them do that a little bit here to help us out and also help police and fire out if these real estate taxes go down as much as they want them to go down. So less state funding, less business funding, equals that shift in the burden to the local taxpayers in our community. And so we struggle with that because I do believe that every person who pays real estate taxes in the state of Ohio wants to see them go down. I mean, it makes sense because they've gone up so high. But the legislature are the ones responsible for that. And they put us in that situation. And we need to work collaboratively with them if they would allow us to do that, so that they truly understand the negative effects of what's going to happen not only to public school districts, but also to our local police and fire agencies. My bigger concern is that there is no plan. If all these things go into place, when we ask the question, well, what's the cumulative effect? How much is it going to decrease the taxes or the revenue coming in for Oregon City Schools? And they have no answer to that. They just want it reduced. And so that really concerns me, and how does it affect police and fire and so forth moving forward? So, like I mentioned, locally, we're going to try to do what we can to reduce our expenses because we know that the environment for passing, whether it be real estate or income taxes, the appetite of that is very slim right now. And so we have to be realistic and we have to look at those things and try to determine our path moving forward. Not only conversations amongst all of us, but with our staff and with our constituents in the community. That's my quick 2 cents on all the fun stuff going on in Columbus. I will also mention the school calendars piece. We've been working on that for quite some time with the certified staff, and also today I had some conversations, hopefully with the classified staff, and I'm hopeful that at the next board meeting we'll have a calendar to vote on for the 26-27 school year. Do you have any questions for me at this time? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Do we have any old business? Okay, board discussion. The good news report. Students will be happy there's no school on Monday, October 13th for Columbus Day, and October 17th for Republican Records Day, so they have a 3-day week that week. Parent-teacher conferences are November 3rd and 4th. Each school has its own sign-up procedure, so check your newsletters for availability. State testing for 3rd graders is October 21st and 22nd. Please check and make sure your child is well rested and well fed. Community Candy Crawl is Sunday, October 19th from 4 to 6. The board and administration trunk will be at the Clay parking lot. Candy's been purchased, and Indy and all board members or administrators are welcome to come and help hand out candy. Star has their own annual trunk or treat Thursday, October 23rd. Fall Clay Choir Concert is Thursday, October 16th at 7. That's the same evening as the annual Volley for the Cure at Facet, which is at 6:30. For that, there's an entrance fee of $2, and all proceeds go to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. I don't know what happened, but the band concert is coming too. That's the following week. Printer must not have printed it right. Jerusalem's annual Right to Read Week is this week, focusing on Facet. Their after-school academic practice program has begun. Students get an extra hour to help with homework every Monday through Friday. 7th grade field trip was announced for the Walleye trip December 3rd. I know it's a little bit early to announce that, but parents, your children have to have appropriate behavior in order to go, so from now until the time of departure. At Clay, the boys golf won the NLL Cardinal Division Championship for the first time since 1996. Darren Fussell scored a hole-in-one at Bowling Green. In girls golf, the girls placed second in the NLL Cardinal Division, and Tori Kuzno earned second team all-district honors. As usual, Clay won the Goodwill Collection and earned a scholarship for a deserving student. Thank you, Oregon Community, for emptying closets. And Clay was renewed as a Purple Star School. And that's what I had. Anybody else have anything? Yes, sir.
We should also add that Tori Kuzma, I believe, was co-player of the year in the NLL for golf.
Okay.
But I do have one other thing, Madam President. I did get this from Lynn Gibbs, and she is the president of the Conservative Club, Oregon Conservative Club, and the Toledo Tea Party. And if the board accepted their donation tonight, she wanted me to read. The Oregon Conservative Club and the Toledo Tea Party welcomed the opportunity to support Clay High School History Department with that endeavor. History teaches the primary role of the Republic, principles of political, economic, and social issues the United States of America faces. As a student in the United States of America, knowing its history helps them have a better understanding of their future role in this. We thank Mr. Klosterman and the Clay High School History Department for including us. That's what she said.
else? Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay, any need for an executive session? Okay, and we will have the next meeting on the 10th at 6. I need a motion to close the meeting, please. Special on the 3rd. Motion to close the meeting.
moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion. Roll call.
Shay,
Yes.
Eversman,
Yes.
Molnar,
Yes,
Savick,
Yes.
Savisky.
Yes.
thank you.